Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. For years, audiences saw the Brown family collapse in slow motion, episode by episode, confession by confession, all under the looming shadow of Kody Brown's obsession. But no one anticipated the fatal blow to come not from Christine's defiance or Janelle's quiet strength, but from one of his own children, who eventually spoke out with a visceral, horrifying tale of growing up under his twisted kind of patriarchal domination. Her voice quivered, but her statements were clear. What Kody referred to as leadership was actually manipulation, fear, and control disguised as family values and divine purposes. She noted how every choice in the family, no matter how minor, had to be sifted through Kody's emotions. If he was angry, the entire house held its breath. If he was distant, the children were instructed to be understanding. And if he preferred one wife over the others, particularly Robin, they were expected to accept it with mute grace. But behind the scenes, the emotional burden placed on the children, particularly the girls, was crushing. His approval was conditional, his love divided, and his presence unpredictable. While the rest of the world saw a multifaceted man juggling many marriages, his daughter saw a power-hungry man who couldn't bear being questioned by anyone, not even his own flesh and blood. What surprised followers the most was not her account, but how it echoed stories they had previously heard, from Meri. Because, in light of this daughter's brave confession, Meri stepped forward once more, but this time not as the loyal wife covering for the dysfunction, not as the woman silently weeping in the shadows, but as someone finally free to scream what she had always wanted to say: "You don't know the real Kody." Meri confirmed what fans had thought for years in an emotional social media post and private texts that leaked to the public. Kody's power over their marriage extended beyond parenting and financial issues. It bled into everything. What to wear. Who to trust. How to feel. She was even allowed to believe certain things about herself. When she attempted to speak up, she was dubbed aggressive, jealous, and dramatic. The man she married, the man she previously thought had a spiritual connection with her, turned out to be someone who dominated her via faith and controlled her through fear. And, while Meri admits she stayed far too long, she also explains why. Kody convinced her she had nowhere else to go. His manipulation was subtle. It was nuanced, multi-layered, and systematic. It was disguised as love. This is why it worked for so long. But Kody's kid saw through it, and she's now tearing back the curtain that Meri took decades to even touch. Growing up in the Brown household, she said, felt like walking on eggshells within a temple. Everyone pretended to be a part of something holy, but there were flaws behind closed doors. She watched her mother cry silently. She witnessed her brothers fight for approval. And she observed how everything was gradually recalibrated to match Robin's concept of family life, because as Robin walked in, the entire structure began to shift. Her father ceased being their father and married Robin. The regulations changed. Priorities switched. And the kids who didn't come from Robin's line were gently pushed away, especially if they questioned Kody. They did challenge. Some children departed. Others separated themselves. But some, like this daughter, remained silent, until now. Because something eventually broke. Something inside her determined that if no one else was going to say it, she should. And what she revealed shocked the fans to their core. She shared anecdotes about being blamed for things she did not do. Of having to apologize for crying too loudly or disagreeing with her father. She described how even holidays were designed to safeguard Kody's comfort, not the children's happiness. And she intimated, without naming names, that some siblings were mistreated not only by their father, but also by the grown-ups he empowered to keep the peace. Her tone was cautious. She didn't mention any names. But those watching understood what she meant. Kody's power was not always about volume, it was about controlling truth, emotion, and narrative. And now the narrative is collapsing. Because Kody never anticipated his children, whom he always claimed he was doing this for, to grow up and speak out against him. Meri finally felt seen as she watched everything unfold. She echoed the daughter's experience using her own memories. She recalled KODY'S extended silences, chilly looks, and emotional withdrawals whenever she requested basic love or attention. She described how she was accused for desiring monogamy while KODY was the one who was always changing the rules. She recalled the day he stopped calling her wife and instead referred to her as a friend. Worse, she admitted to years of self-blame. That is the true harm KODY left behind, not just shattered marriages or scattered children, but also internalized shame, deep bewilderment, and a warped sense of value that persisted long after the connection ended. And now, with his own daughter coming forward, Meri's humiliation is finally shared and validated. Fans believe this is the last collapse of the Kody Brown enterprise. Because once the children speak, the issue becomes one of legacy rather than opinion. And KODY'S legacy, once cloaked in the language of faith and fatherhood, is now dissolving into something more sinister. The notion that he was a man doing his best in a complicated life is being replaced with a far more sinister reality: he thrived in the turmoil. He created it. That pandemonium helped him to maintain control. And Robin? She was not just the final wife, but also the final weapon. Her commitment to KODY provided him with moral support. Her presence made his decisions appear logical. And now that everyone else has left, Robin is forced to defend not only their marriage, but also the guy who is gradually being revealed by the very children he claims to love the most. And it isn't just this daughter. Rumors are spreading that more Brown youngsters are planning to speak out. Private TikToks. Deleted posts. Distant siblings are starting to like and share stories that hint at deeper dysfunction. The stillness is breaking, and what emerges isn't simply a family in decline, but a family that was never entire in the first place. What they created was not plural unity. Everything was KODY'S ego, coated with spouses, children, and just enough God talk to keep everything together, until everything fell apart. And now, with Meri confirming the emotional toll and a daughter removing the curtain of control, the reality is finally revealed. The truth is that this family did not fail. This was a man who created a system that could only benefit him, and when it failed, he blamed the system rather than himself. What about the fans? They see it now. Clearer than ever. This isn't simply reality television anymore. This is about emotional survival. This is what occurs when people stop pretending and start addressing the problem for what it is. And the timing couldn't be more ideal or awful. As KODY works to rebuild his public image and save what remains of his reputation, the voices from his past become stronger. They are not angry. They aren't even bitter. They're relieved. I'm relieved that someone has finally spoken it. Meri has finally verified it. That a daughter eventually exposed it. That we can finally understand. And the issue remains, what will KODY say? Will he deny? Deflect? Can we blame editing? Or, for once, will he accept responsibility for the damage? Time will tell. But one thing is certain, the daughters are speaking. The ex-wives have finished hiding. And the sinister secrets of Kody Brown's evil control are no longer gossip, they're evidence.